with a UFC star calling out a WWE name and more. This is Wrestling Rambles, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Talking about his upcoming match at ROH Final Battle against Matt Cardona, Chris Jericho told Busted Open Radio, "Just the fact that we are doing this is special. The fact that it's in Hammerstein, with the vibe that is expected. I don't think anybody expected Matt Cardona to answer this challenge. He's not an AEW regular. We haven't seen him a whole lot. Ticket sales have pretty much doubled after this match was announced. We're going to sell out if we haven't already. Matt has done a good job of reinventing himself and recreating himself. Everything he does is very solid. It looks great. It's very meat and potatoes in the best way. Matt is not the type of guy who's going to do a moonsault off the top of the balcony, and neither am I. We'll leave that to the guys who do that. I expect we're going to beat the shit out of each other with a raucous crowd." When it comes to the relationship between AEW and GCW, especially after AEW stars were pulled from GCW shows following Effie's comments about Tony Khan and his father, Ringside News wrote that, with Matt Cardona's high-profile clash against Chris Jericho set for ROH Final Battle, the ongoing chatter about AEW's relationship with GCW just got a little more interesting. During the ROH media call, Tony Khan finally weighed in on the situation, giving a cautious but revealing answer. "It remains to be seen," Khan said when asked directly about AEW's current relationship with GCW. He made it clear that Cardona's independent bookings, including GCW, have been part of the mix, specifically crediting him for helping set up Jericho's recent surprise GCW appearance. "Matt Cardona has bookings all over the world," Khan explained, adding that AEW remains open to working with various promotions. "We've done cross-promotional appearances and angles across the independent scene, especially with New Japan, to spread AEW's reach. While it wasn't an outright confirmation of future collaborations, it's clear Khan is keeping his options open as Final Battle inches closer." GCW owner Brett Lauderdale previously fueled speculation by teasing a fun atmosphere for GCW's return to the Hammerstein Ballroom on January 19th. With Cardona juggling roles in both AEW and GCW, the wrestling community is eager to see if this opens the door for more crossover moments, or if Khan will keep AEW's focus elsewhere. Recalling his time on NXT when the $1 Million Championship was brought back, Trevor Lee told Bill Pritchard, "It was definitely like a happenstance. When they said, 'We are going to have Ted come in,' there was no talks of it being, for it to ultimately bring in the $1 Million Championship. But we were very fortunate that with WWE's resources, we got to do a lot of very cool vignettes. We had one day for taping, and we did 3 different vignettes in that day. And it was the watch shopping with Ted and buying a house with Ted. And then there was one more we did that day as well, but I can't exactly remember which one it was, but it was just supposed to be those eventually. And then once I got back to the production, and they edited it all up, and everything, they were like, 'Man, this is some good stuff. Maybe we will get a little bit more out of this.' And then once they started thinking about getting more out of it, then it was like, let's just bring back the $1 Million title, since it was becoming so big. It was just kind of like a week-by-week thing."
Has there been anything strange that you've been asked to autograph?
Yeah, I've had a few weird things to ask to autograph. That's maybe some undergarments. I'll keep it safe here.
I say I signed some Paramore stuff, some Paramore merch, and foreheads. That's always my favorite.
I may have signed a prosthetic leg. I've signed people's bodies and then they've had it tattooed.
And that's a really incredible honor. Scares me a little too because I'm really worried that my signature won't be up to par. And sometimes it's hard signing on skin.
I learned that I need to change my reaction to that because I think it's crazy. So I'm like, "What? You got that tattooed?" And they're so proud of it, And then when I scream at them, they're like, "Oh my God."
I mean, I've signed $100 bills before in the past. I'll put the Rey Mysterio, and right where that 100 is, I'll put the 6 before the 1, and then a 9 after the 1. So we turned that $100 bill into a $619 bill.
Revealing an NXT appearance that was planned for Kevin Nash, Ringside News wrote that wrestling fans missed out on a major reunion during the December 3rd episode of WWE NXT. Kevin Nash confirmed on his Click This podcast that he was originally scheduled to join fellow wrestling legends Eric Bischoff and X-Pac on the show, but had to pull out due to his recent bicep surgery. Nash detailed the scrapped plans while discussing his recovery. When co-host Sean Oliver asked if Nash had crossed paths with X-Pac before surgery, Nash revealed, "No, I had the surgery the day he got in. Him and Eric did. I was supposed to do a thing with him and Eric." The Hall of Famer's appearance would have reunited three key figures in wrestling history, creating a special moment for fans of the NWO and the wrestling industry as a whole. Instead, the segment proceeded without Nash, leaving fans to wonder what might have been. Who suffered a torn bicep during a workout, is currently focusing on recovery. He previously shared the extent of his injury, explaining, "I did a single-arm bicep curl machine, and by the 9th rep, I felt my left bicep cramping. I knew it. I tore the bicep." The injury required a complicated 3.5-hour surgery that also addressed other issues, including rotator cuff damage and bone spurs. As Bischoff and X-Pac made their NXT appearances, Nash's absence was a missed opportunity to celebrate the legacy of the NWO and their impact on wrestling. Whether WWE plans to bring Nash into future storylines remains uncertain, but fans are eager to see Big Sexy back in action once he's healed.
There can only be one tribal chief. Now, in my mind, and in the mind of the island of relevancy that stands before you today, that tribal chief is the OTC, Roman Reigns. But I will give you credit, Solo. I respect what you've done. You took this entire industry and you turned it upside down. For 4 years, no one could stand up to Roman Reigns. For 4 years, no one even came close. You not only came close, you've taken the bloodline. You've taken the Ulafala. You've taken the name tribal chief. And Roman Reigns wants it back.
This time I can look at the roster that we have and say I have never seen a roster of more talented men and women from top to bottom than we have right now. I have never seen this company have more global appeal than what we have right now. And with NXT and the Performance Center and everything that Shawn Michaels and Matt Bloom and that team down there are creating week in and week out, the future is incredibly bright. And now, with the biggest streaming service in the world as our partner, we become bigger than we have ever been before. On January 6th, it is not just the launch of Raw on Netflix. It is a new launch of WWE worldwide.
In a Facebook post, it was announced that former WWE and WCCW wrestler Black Bart is stopping chemotherapy in his battle with stage 4 colon cancer, which has spread to his liver. Bart was brought home today. He still isn't able to walk, but he isn't making progress in the rehab, so the insurance will not continue to pay for him. He has told me that he doesn't want any more chemo. He feels that it's doing more damage than good, and I have to back him up on that. He doesn't feel that he has given up, he's just not putting any more poison in his body. He is completely in God's hands now. God's will be done. Recapping the situation with rumors of LA Knight being injured, Ringside News wrote that fans of LA Knight can breathe a sigh of relief. He's not injured after all. Despite Lucan's Wine and Spirits claiming the WWE superstar had to pull out of a December 17th meet and greet due to an injury, Fightful Select now reports that WWE denies the claim. According to sources, Knight was never injured, nor was he even approved for the appearance. The confusion stemmed from Lucan's Wine and Spirits announcing on social media, "While we're sad to announce that WWE superstar LA Knight is unable to attend the December 17th event due to injury, we've got great news. WWE superstar Braun Strowman has stepped up to replace him. However, WWE quickly clarified the situation behind the scenes. Knight's absence wasn't injury-related, he simply wasn't booked for the event in the first place. While fans initially worried about the severity of an alleged injury, this update puts those concerns to rest. As Conor McGregor revealed that a boxing match with Logan Paul is in the works, the UFC star has now said this on X, TKO Group, UFC versus WWE. There is levels to this. A big sloppy novice is going to find out. TKO King title, biggest generator, king of numbers, streams, I hold every record, and I am coming back to KO this novice and rack in more numbers for the company. Former WWE star Matt Riddle is facing accusations that he scammed a promoter out of $2,000, with Ringside News noting. Matt Riddle's name is once again stirring controversy, as the former WWE superstar faces accusations of scamming a wrestling promoter out of $2,000 and failing to show up for a promised meet and greet and match. The allegations come from Dylan Hines, the promoter behind World Classic Professional Big Time Wrestling. In a detailed Facebook post, Hines accused Riddle and an individual named Michelle Gray of making last-minute financial demands, breaching their agreement, and leaving the promotion in the lurch. Hines explained, on Saturday morning, December 14th, at 6:32 a.m., an individual under the name of Michelle Gray reached out to me. She stated that for Matt Riddle to get on his flight, he'd need to receive $2,000. I woke up at 7:20 a.m. I attempted to call the individual to see if this was a scam or not. I've never heard of this person's name until Saturday at 7:20 a.m. This individual refused to speak over the phone. According to Hines, he reached out to Riddle directly to verify Gray's connection, and after confirmation, sent the payment. However, things quickly escalated. From the understanding between Matt and I, we had a deal for $8,000 plus travel. After informing us he'd not attend the meet and greet, I was informed he'd need $5,000 for just a match. Unfortunately, thanks to Michelle Gray and her new client Matt Riddle, I couldn't deliver what was promised. Hines further revealed that the agreement shifted mid-conversation, with Riddle allegedly demanding $10,000. $2,000 more than their original deal. The promoter expressed his frustration with Riddle's behavior and stated that the incident had caused financial damage to the event, including ticket and meet and greet sales. In our industry, a promo is as good as a contract, Hines added. He did the promo. He chose not to perform to the contractual agreement. Hines shared screenshots of his communications with Riddle and Gray to back up his claims. He also stated that his legal team is exploring options to recover damages, vowing not to work with Riddle again. I will never work with Riddle again. As with his career in the WWE, he's riddled with issues, he said.